You're positive you're not 35? This stupid swamp. Stupid swamp. Hey Isaac. So math doesn't math. Okay, so like right here we get like 3.6 views, 3.2 watch hour. We come here, we don't even have 100. So like math doesn't math.
Yeah, that's how many times people have watched them. The same people have watched them. Most likely.
Damn, who is watching a 1 hour video? 3,000.
That's all I had left, so I don't know if there's any watermelon up there. Okay, because that's like the first thing that everyone goes for. So like my bowl upstairs in my room is all grape.
I like grape.
Yes, it's just the least popular. Alright, so what do we need to do here? We need to tighten something up, or?
Yeah. Was this one?
Hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo podcast. My name is Gemma, and with me this week I have my good friend Kirk. Welcome back, Kirk.
It is good to be here, and once again, nobody else joined me.
Yes, I
It is
know,
good to be
it's
here,
a
and once
thing.
again, nobody else joined me. Everyone's
Yes, I
mad
know,
because I
it's
didn't
a
join the
thing.
Pure Nintendo Game Night on Wednesday.
Yes,
Everyone's
I think
mad
that's
because I
exactly
didn't
right.
join the
So-
Pure Nintendo Game Night on
Yes,
Wednesday.
for shame.
Everyone's mad because I didn't
Yeah,
join
so
the
this
Game
week we're going to spend some time talking about the new Mario Kart DLC that dropped during the week. And as Kirk mentioned, we did have a team game night that you weren't part of. For some reason, I think wrestling might have interfered with that.
Yes, as I mentioned in my review that went live this week for AEW Fight Forever, I'm a dedicated fan, and it happened to coincide with AEW Fight Forever. I'm a dedicated fan.
You can't
I
argue
have
with
my
that.
allegiances are strong. I'm a dedicated fan.
That's
I have
fine.
my allegiances are strong.
But I know you've at least had your own time with the track. So let's talk about what we've experienced. And so yeah, speaking of the game night, so Justin, Trevor, and I, and Katie, we all jumped online. Speaking of the game night, so Justin, checked out the tracks. Had a blast actually. We always do. And I know Trev wanted me to mention. Actually, we always do.
Yeah,
that
it
I
didn't
was-
sound like he had a blast.
Trev wanted me to mention. Not sure what he
Yeah, it
meant.
didn't sound like
Said I
he had a
hustled
blast.
him before then. Not sure what he meant. I think it's just because I won. I think that's all. It's just- And yeah, I think it's just because, to be fair, I don't usually win. Justin is usually the winner of these little. To be fair, I don't usually win. Justin is, so I was pleasantly surprised. The winner of these. To be fair, I don't usually win. So I was pleasantly. So we went through. We did all 8 of the new tracks, and we did single player. First round we did 4, and then we did teams second round. And Katie and I were on a team, and then Justin and Trevor were on a team. And it was Justin and Trevor were doing really well. They were winning for the first 3 tracks, and then the last track I won. I think it must be the first 3 tracks. No, this was after the 8 tracks. We did all 8 tracks separately, then we just did random tracks. And Katie and I came back and we actually tied with Justin and Trevor. So that was probably a good outcome. I would think the opposite of a hustle. Justin and Trevor. So that was probably a good outcome. I mean, you can't ask for the opposite of a more pleasant, tie, unless you're really competitive. I mean, you can't ask for anything else.
That's true. That's true. Especially if you're going up against the editors.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, but I am writing up my thoughts on the tracks for the website at the moment. So it should hopefully be up before this episode airs, actually. But I'm writing it over the weekend. Should hopefully be up. And well, we could talk about our favorite tracks. Do you have any that stood out to you? Well, we could talk about our favorite tracks.
Well, I didn't the Cherry Cup, so I didn't do any of those in there. I didn't the Cherry Cup. I'm going to say that my favorite that I played was Daisy Cruiser. And the reason that my favorite is because I don't play a lot of Mario Kart. My son is into it and he plays it a lot. I don't play it very well, so every now and again I'll hop on. But it struck me how long it's been, despite how long it's been since I played that, how much I remember. Like the moment, the opening cinematic starts, it shows you what's going to happen. The moment those tables kind of sliding around as the boat rocks, I thought, oh, man, those tables kind of sliding around, and it comes back to really quickly. So I got to keep on that. And it comes back to really quickly. So I enjoyed the race.
Yeah, that's probably a highlight for me too, Daisy Cruiser. And I definitely remember playing that back in the day. The tables. I even mentioned that to the guys when we were playing. I even mentioned that to the chairs move across when we were playing. I don't know why.
It's not a very good cruiser they're on.
Not really.
The waves didn't look like they were that bad, so I don't know why we have that much movement. The waves didn't look like they were that bad. It makes for fun.
It does, yes. Only in Mushroom Kingdom would that happen. It does, yes. And I guess I'm a little biased because Daisy is my go-to character. And I guess I'm a little named after her. Daisy is something my go-to character. And I guess I'm a little named after her. I enjoy. Yes, so Daisy Cruiser. And I think, and I mentioned this in previous reviews reviews of previous waves that there haven't been a lot of, and I mentioned this double dash, like the GameCube reviews of previous waves, haven't been a lot of tracks taken from that double dash from that game. So it's nice to see another double dash tracks taken in the mix. And you would have recognized Athens, maybe not recognized it, but at least remembered me talking about that. You would have recognized Tour a few months ago, but at least remembered me talking about that.
Yes, I do remember, because I remember thinking at the time I should probably go ahead and grab Mario Kart Tour. I haven't done that. Thinking at the time I did not recognize that track, but I did know that I haven't done this discussion.
Yeah. So I think that was the only tour track I had any experience with. I don't think in the Cherry Cup there's Los Angeles and Vancouver, and I don't recall having played them before on tour. But yeah, Athens I definitely have and enjoyed it, and that was I think no, Trev and Justin had so all four of us, including Katie, four of us had played these tracks on our own before we got together and played them, or at least some of them. So I played with my kids on our own the night they came out, or at least some of them, because we just couldn't wait. And it was a bit of a midweek. We don't usually play a lot during the week, during school weeks. It was a bit of an exception. We don't usually play a lot during the week. So I had practiced them once each, and I used Wiggler, one of the new characters, and performed Terra Wiggler. I don't know if it was performed because he's a bigger character than I'm used to. Like I usually use Baby Daisy, and I just was, and so I used Wiggler the character in the Wiggler mobile. I just was because, so I used Wiggler the character in the Wiggler. See how Wiggler would look in his own branded car. See how Wiggler would look. And my son and I did this. We both did this because we just and my son and I did this. We both. But I was really bad. So Harrison, my other son, he won. And my son and I did this easily. But I was really bad. And I'm usually the winner. So I was a bit like, blaming Wiggler. And I'm usually the winner. So basically. And then when Justin, I think he was using Wiggler, and I decided to use Hammock, one of the other new characters, and found that a lot easier. So maybe Wiggler's not the right. I found that a lot easier. I don't know. Did you try any of the new characters?
Well, I did. Yeah, I didn't use Wiggler. My son Sam used Wiggler. Well, I did. Yeah, I didn't use expected or unexpected Sam in my household. But yeah, maybe it's because he is taller, but also he's moving a little bit too. So maybe his movement gives the illusion that you're properly turning when really his body gives the illusion that you're properly turning. So maybe he's tricking your brain into thinking there's movement when there is movement.
Yeah, I did enjoy the fact that he went red, like he got angry when he got hit.
Yeah,
I did enjoy the fact that that was a nice touch. And we had, when we first started playing, I thought that was nice. The kids and I chose our characters, and Hayden and I said, do you think he's going to get angry? Because that would be actually really cool if they did that. Because when you jump on Wiggler, he doesn't, in the Mario platforms, he doesn't die. He jump on Wiggler, turns red and angry, doesn't he? So I like that they did that. That was a nice touch. But yeah, sorry, did you have something?
Oh no, just like a lot of real drivers.
Sorry, did you have something?
Oh no, just like a lot of getting red and angry all the time.
Yeah, especially in Los Angeles, probably. It seems like. Especially in Los
Or
Angeles.
Vancouver or Athens.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if you're driving through traffic ends where there's columns of ancient ruins, I mean, if you're driving through, it's pretty hard to navigate. So, is that, is that giving us an unfair, I don't know, perception of what it's like to be in Athens, or any of these perception of what it's like to be in Athens?
We're going to go over there and actually drive around. It's just going to be other cars and stoplights. It's nearly as much fun. I've been lied cars and stoplights.
Yes, exactly.
Nearly as much fun.
So I guess the other two in the Feather Cup were Moonview Highway and Clean Springs. So Moonview Highway was from Wii, and that's a really fun kind of. And that's another one that's a bit more real life. Actually, it is on a highway, so it's you are amongst other cars, even though they do happen to be giant bombs, which is not. You are amongst other cars, even though they do happen to be giant bombs. Certainly fun. Did you hit any of those giant bombs?
Oh sure.
Yeah. Certainly fun. Did you hear any of
you're
those?
drifting along and think you're doing fine, and then suddenly there's a bomb in front of you. Yeah, you're drifting along. It's like one of those moments where you know there's nothing you can do except hit it. So you just kind of resign yourself to your fate. There's nothing you can do except hit it.
Yeah. It's really nice, that one though. It's like a nighttime. It's like set at night. It's really nice, that one. Yeah, it's like hence Moonview, I guess. But the surprise, well, not, I mean, we knew this was in the mix, but it was a surprise when it was announced. But the surprise, I mean, we knew this was a completely new track, which is awesome. I love getting new content. Like a lot of us haven't played the tour tracks, or maybe we missed out on Super Circuit or something like that. But a lot of us haven't played. Everyone, this is completely new. Squeaky Clean Sprint. What was your? How did you? Everyone, this is completely new.
Well, it didn't.
What was your?
It didn't strike me, like for a dedicated fan because Athens Dash was new to me also. A dedicated fan, and although I played Moonview Highway before, I didn't remember that one as well as I remember played. So new or not, remember that one as well as I remember. They all kind of most of them feel somewhat new or not, but I liked it. Yeah, it was fun. Most of them feel
but I liked it. It's a bit chaotic. You drive through a pipe. Which I found really hard to navigate. You drive through a pipe, like down a sink or something.
Yeah, but the first few times you play it, you're not sure where to go. Yeah, but the first few times you play it, it does throw you not sure where to go. Yeah, but the picked it up by the third lap. It does throw you not.
But it looks amazing. It looked really cool. And there's lots of there's so much to see, and this is the case with a lot of these tracks. But I think this one in particular has just a lot going on around it, like in the periphery that you can spot going on. And each time you play, you might see something different. Like there's like toweling on the ground that looks really, there's Mario towers and things like that on the ground. And I think there's a soapy area that's slippery, and there's bubbles, and there's there's the toilets. And during the first lap, you just kind of jump over it. I think then the second and third lap there's water, and during the first lap, out of it, jump over it. I think then the second and third lap, which gives you a boost, a nice boost, and there's a shortcut in the right, which gives you a boost. And the pipes. Did you see there's like an engagement ring down there hiding in the depths? And the pipes.
I didn't, and I also missed the shortcut.
So there's quite a few things going on. I think that's one of the other things, or one of the other things going on. I think one of the other elements of Mario Kart that I love is it's not just a straight racer. I mean, there's the items, which are obviously fun and chaotic. There's the shortcuts, which are fun to discover and pull off because some of them are quite tricky. There's the shortcuts, and there's just those little Easter eggs in the background that make them kind of special. Excuse me, for I guess Mario fans at least, kind of special. Just seeing different characters. I guess Mario fans. Or I think there was some sort of maybe a Yoshi egg or something. Squeaky Clean Sprint. I thought I saw something like that. Yoshi egg. Yeah, there's just always something to look out for, especially when it's a new track, or even when you haven't played for a while, especially when it's been redone for the Switch. It's like even when you haven't played for a while, what's changed, what's new? Oh, look at that, kind of thing. So it's very distracting and eye-opening, I suppose. Do you agree with that?
Yes, yeah, I do, and I also think it's great that yes, even if you had played this before, like you mentioned, you're looking for new things, and they'll put them in there. It's like kind of like a little reward for people who have been playing these games. They'll put them in there. It's like and it keeps things interesting. You'll play it. It's like when you're listening to a song, and you've heard it 100 times, and you put on good headphones. It's like when you hear things you didn't hear before. You've heard it 100 times.
That's true.
Yeah, the same thing happens here. Like I never noticed this. Why did I never see it 100 times?
That's a pretty good analogy. I like that. Because I do have the headphones I'm using right now actually are my good ones that I don't tend to use day to day. Headphones I'm using right now actually my good ones. But music sounds awesome in them. Yeah. Which is cool. So I use it for travel. Well, the Cherry Cup. So you haven't experienced these ones. Did you see them? Well, the Cherry Cup.
No, I didn't.
No, okay. I'd say the highlight.
No, I didn't.
Probably Sunset Wilds, simply because those Mario Kart and Super Circuit tracks, the Game Boy Advance version of Mario Kart, they always look spectacular on the Switch. Like they've been revamped. They always look spectacular. To a crazy amount of detail, because the Game Boy Advance title, I think, was to a crazy amount of detail. It's like an early Mario Kart title, and obviously the graphics are more simpler back then, 16-bit-ish, I think it was, Game Boy Advance. And so they do a really good job, enhancing these for the Switch. They do a really good job. And there's these puddles on the track that look just splendid. They're like reflective. I don't know if it's meant to be mud or water. I thought it was mud, but it didn't really slow you down. It kind of splash through. But they just, I thought it was mud. Beautiful. I don't know how they do it, but it just looks lovely. It's a really, really beautiful looking track. I don't know how they do it. Very fast, lots of turns, and there's little shy guys in the middle, very fast, little turns, like construction worker hats or something, who were just in the way, and you're like, get out of the way, shy guy. Construction worker hats or something.
You can't hit them, can you?
You can, and it's it's not good to hit them because then you stop. So it's like an object that's blocking. It's not good. And in fact, I think Justin was leading in one of those races, and he hit a shy guy in front of me. I was behind him, and he hit a shy guy, and I overtook him. So kind of to my benefit in that case. So I overtook him. So which is quite funny. Kind of to my benefit in that case. But yeah, one thing I did, and to be honest, I didn't notice this at the time. But one thing I did, Sunset Wilds, the original track, has a sun that sets during the game, like during the 3 laps. So you end up playing the last lap in the dark, like at night times. And they've removed that from the Switch version, like at night times.
I wonder why.
And they've removed that. No,
Because that sounds nice.
it does, and I had completely forgotten that was even a thing until I saw mention it. It does, and I had completely freaking out a little bit about it and saying, "Why is it not happening?" It does, yeah, that's right. Freaking out a little bit about it and saying, "Why?" So, not sure because you'd think if they could do it for the Game Boy Advance, they could definitely do it for the Switch. Not sure because you'd think if they could do it, maybe they'll bring it in an update or something. I think there was. I'm not sure if it was Wave 4. There was a Wii track, or it might have been Wave 3. It was the Coconut Mall track. And when they released that, there's in the Wii version at the end of the lap, like there's in the Wii version before you hit the finish line, there's like these cars that go back and forth. And you have to kind of dodge them, and they're moving. And when they released it, and we played it for the first time, and they didn't move. They just sat there static, not moving. And we played it like, oh, it's supposed to move. It makes it a bit trickier when they're moving to dodge a moving object, right? And people complained, and they did add that in. Now they move. And people complained whether or not they will add in a sunset, but it just seems like a weird omission, right? Like it's called Sunset Wilds. So it just seems like a weird omission.
Yeah, I wonder if some of the other graphic enhancements somehow made that more difficult to pull off. Shading issue with more objects or something more difficult to pull. You would think that they would have been able to figure out a way. More objects.
You would think so. Yes, I was surprised. Well, as I said, I didn't actually even notice because I'd forgotten completely that was even a thing. As I said, I didn't actually even notice. I was surprised when I recalled it and I read about it and thought, yeah, that's a good point. Why miss that? It's like it'd be like taking out the train on the what's that desert track? It'd be like taking out the train that they put on one of the waves. You know, there's a desert and there's a train that runs through the desert, and sometimes it goes across the track and you have to stop or you hit the train. It would be like taking the train out of that level and just having the track there with no train. It would be pointless. It would be like taking the train out of that level feature of that track with no train. It would be like taking the train out of that level. But Cupid Cape was always a favourite too. That was a Wii track. So that's in the Cherry Cup. And I know Justin was excited about that one. That was a Wii track. And he's talking the Cherry Cup. But I know Justin was excited about that one. This is a water-based track where you kind of lots of jumps and there's waterfalls in the background and you kind of go underwater, but you're actually in a pipe, like a big pipe, and you kind of go underwater, but you're actually in a you can see the ocean kind of around you, like fish, the cheap swimming. Yeah, it's really cool. It reminds me of that Jaws movie. Was it like Jaws 2 or something where they're it's really cool. Do you remember this movie?
I do. That was Jaws 3 you're talking
Jaws 3?
about.
Do you remember this movie?
Yeah,
it reminds me of that. Jaws 3? I always expected something to burst through or try to expected something giant.
Oh yeah, just bite right through the glass and attack your car. Oh yeah, just bite right through the glass.
It'd be cool if they did something, like
what
would you call it? It'd be cool if they did something, like an outtake or something, like an alternate version of Mario Kart, like an outtake, things like that happen.
Yeah, it could be a PD Piranha. It's got a big enough mouth to. Yeah, it could be a PD Piranha. It's got a big enough mouth to.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a
so that was good, and I just don't know what I was doing right to win these races. What I was doing right against Justin, Trev, and Katie the other day. I really don't. I'm trying to think against us whether I was distracting them with talk of work or whether I was distracting them with and the new characters I think threw us off a little bit too, but it was so much fun, honestly. And the new characters and threw us off a little bit too. I do it was so much fun. Wonder what's next. I say we've got one more wave to go. Wonder what's next. Wave 6 we've got due out before the end of the year to go. Wonder what's so we've got that to look forward to. And I did notice, and we kind of touched on this last week, I think, and I did get excited about the upcoming DLC that there's a couple of spots left for characters. So that in this round there's a couple of spots left for Piranha and Kamek. And there's two little question marks left. So I don't know. Did you have any two little question marks left? Thoughts on who that could be, or who I don't know. Did you have any two little question marks?
I'd have to say who I'd like it to be because I am in no way, shape, or form qualified to say who I think I'd like it to be because I am in no way, shape. There are a lot of characters out there I don't know. I don't know the history of getting these things right. There are a lot of characters out there. Considering that they have just a few characters from games outside of Mario, I would love if one of the drivers was Olimar from Pikmin. I would love, which would have been a good option for this round.
It actually would.
Is coming out, which would have been a good option. I think because he's the right size. But I think they could give him a cool little car, and if they do offer him a new weapons, he could have little Pikmin that he could throw and attach them to the other cars, which then bang away on the driver or something for a little bit until they lose control of the Pikmin and fly off or something attach them to the other car until they start control driver.
Yeah, I would love that. That'd be great. Yeah.
Oh, and they could put in a new Pikmin map.
That'd be great. Oh yeah.
Driving around through those the little Pikmin planet. I don't know what's driving called. The little Pikmin planet.
Is it something H maybe?
Yeah. Or is that the company that they work?
Oh yeah, that could be the company. Yeah, good point.
Freight. Or is that
That's it. That's what I was thinking. Oh yeah, that could be the company.
But yeah, so that's who I would like to see for one of them. I think that would be a fun addition. But yeah, so that's who I would like to see for one of them. I think that would be a fun one. Know how to work with Olimar.
Yeah, totally. That seems like a missed opportunity now that you mention it, being that it came out a week before Pikmin 4. That seems like a missed opportunity now that you mention it, being that it came out now I'm disappointed.
I am bringing everyone down with what could have been.
Yeah, thanks, No, I mean, it would have been good timing, and you're right, they have had other characters. No, I mean, it would have been good timing, and you're right, and I think they've got
Splatoon.
Yeah, the Splatoon. You're right, and I think they've got. Is it 2 or 3 Splatoon people?
I think
Splatoon 2. Yeah. Oh yeah, one of each, and then 2 or 3 Splatoon. Animal Crossing have a few. Oh yeah, one of each, and then yeah. So Pikmin would seem like a pretty good choice. Yeah, maybe Kirby would be another choice. That's a pretty good choice. He's a pretty, maybe Kirby, well-known Nintendo character. That's a pretty good choice. Well, there's 2 spots left. I mean, they could still do that. It could be if there's 2 left. I wonder if they'd theme them like Olimar and. It could be like Louis. No, you wouldn't do Louis, would you?
Yeah, I think they'd be too similar. Maybe Brittany.
Yeah, maybe Brittany.
Your kids would make you be Brittany every race.
Yeah, maybe Brittany.
Your kids would make you be Brittany.
I mean, you could you do? Yeah, maybe Brittany. I suppose you could do. Yeah, I mean, you could. Or you could do. Yeah, maybe Brittany. I suppose Pikmin are too small. I mean, you could do like a bunch of Pikmin driving together, like one's hitting the accelerator, one's hitting the brakes, one's in the steering. Like hitting the accelerator. Wanting the
That'd be
brakes,
fun.
wanting the
That would be
steering.
fun to watch.
Like,
Put them on a motorcycle. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Put them on a
Yes,
motorcycle.
that would-
That'd be fun.
Not sure how that would work. That would be cool.
Yes.
That would be cool to see that. Not sure how that would work. So many options. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if they still did that, but maybe that's a bit of a long. I wouldn't be surprised if they still did that. If they didn't do it in July, maybe that's a bit of a long. I wouldn't be surprised if they still did later in the year. If they didn't do it in July, who knows?
Maybe they wanted to wait to see for people to get familiar with the world and the characters before they wanted to wait to see for people to get familiar with
And
the
then,
world
I mean,
and the characters.
if they released it in sort of October, November, and then I mean, or even December, if they released it in sort of people are seeing these characters in Mario Kart, it might make them want to buy the game for the holiday season or something. Mario Kart, it might make them want to buy the game for the holiday season. Yeah. Well, that's a really good option, though. I love that. I'm trying to think who else. Well, that's a really good option, though. I love that. And I'm not familiar enough with Tour because I know. That's a really good option. I think is it Kamek? I'm not familiar enough with Tour because it was in Tour, I believe. Is it Kamek? I'm not familiar enough with Tour. So they obviously have a lot of characters in Tour, like so many. And I think I mentioned this when we talked about. They have a lot of characters in Tour. There's lots of variations as well. Like you get Toad with his little. I don't know. There's lots of variations as well. Like you get. Was it? It was a. I don't know. Tourist Toad. So he has a little backpack and all that sort of thing. And you can get different versions of Daisy and Peach and Mario and heaps of people. And you can get different versions of one that I would like to see, and I think I may or may not have mentioned this before, but I've definitely thought this before. That I would like to see is Wart from Super Mario Brothers. But I've definitely thought this before. That I would like to see. You remember the big Wart, the villain, I suppose, of that game, as opposed to not Bowser in this one. The villain, I suppose, of that game. Wart's been missing for all these years. Not Bowser. I don't know why he's not had cameos in anything. Wart's been missing for all these years. I don't know why he's not cameos in anything. Wart's been missing.
I guess. Would you consider? I guess I wouldn't consider him a mainline person. He may be more on the fringe.
I guess I wouldn't consider him a
mainline person.
No, he's definitely a fringe character. Yes. Who else? Yeah, he's definitely a fringe character. I suppose time will tell. Yeah, there's a whole universe of characters, I suppose, based on choose. Like Pink Piranha. Yeah, there's a whole. I think he's been in the previous game, but I mean, I forgot he existed. Yeah, there's a whole. I think he's been in the. He seems a little out there to me. I have to say, Kamek was really good to use. He seems a little out there. I really enjoyed Kamek. I have to say, Kamek was really good to use. A good balance of being a small character, a smaller character. I don't think he's quite a small. A good balance of being a small character, a smaller character. He just looks cool. I love his little blue robes. I don't recall him making any. He just looks cool. I Magic Koopa noises. I don't recall him making any swishing his wand or anything like that. You know, like a Wiggler turns red. I don't think there were any Kamek wand or anything like that. Easter eggs, but I may have missed it in the frantic function of the game. So, I may have missed it. Yeah,
I didn't use it, so I can't say for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
I didn't use it.
It's fun to speculate. Excuse me, and then we'll have more. It's fun to speculate. More to enjoy before the year is out. And I suppose that leaves us with more to enjoy before more speculation or hopes or whatever we want to call it for what will happen after Wave 6, because what has been fantastic having 2 years worth of DLC, I suppose, over every 3 or 6 months. 2 years worth of and it's really breathed life into this. Well, I mean, the game was already popular and it's really breathed life into we love it anyway. The game was, I'm sure your kids do. But it was just great to have fresh content, fresh characters. But it was just great. And once the last wave is over, I think I said last week I'll be a bit sad about that. But once the last it does leave, I suppose, room for something new in the Mario Kart universe. Do you have any thoughts or ideas or hopes or dreams for what you would like to see? And I know you're not a huge Mario Kart fan, but even speculating about what could happen. I mean, I think we hinted at this last week about what could, whether it's related to a new Switch or not. But where can the series go from here?
Yeah, I guess my thought would be it does seem to be wrapping up and right around the same point where the rumors does seem to be wrapping up. The new Switch are kind of kicking into overdrive now. That tends to happen a lot over the past 3 or 4 years. Those have kicked into overdrive. But so I bet that this is probably it for the Switch version of that. Yeah, so I bet that this is probably it for the Switch version next Nintendo. There's going to be something great. And what next Mario Kart becomes, I'm assuming, would probably tie in with whatever the angle is going to be. I'm assuming would probably tie in with whatever the angle is going to be.
And who knows what that'll be. You'd think that they'll keep the hybrid. I imagine, everyone's sort of talking about a Switch 2 or a Super Switch or whatever. I imagine, given the success of the Switch, they would probably keep that hybrid model alive.
I would expect. I think that just did so well for them. I would expect. And you see other people trying to. I think that just kind of mimic it now. What's that? I would expect. And you see a Steam console thing or whatever it is, where you can play your Steam games now. And you see a Steam Switch-like device or whatever it is, where you can play your Steam games. So I'm willing to bet that they would, but with Nintendo, they always are way ahead of bet that they would. In what with Nintendo, what they're going to offer, what people would expect. And so I'm happy what they're going to offer, sit tight and wait to see what comes out.
I'm happy what they're going to offer, sit tight and wait to see what comes out. I think there's been talk, and I didn't realize other people had. Of course, people do this. Like, I think billions of people in the world, but so for not two of them to have the same idea. But I had always thought it would be cool if Mario Kart became like an open world, or not became. I don't want it to change. Mario Kart needs to still have, or not be Grand Prix with cups and races and new tracks, etc. That has to be a part of it. But it would be fun to see what they could do with a bit more of an open world. It would be fun to see component to the game where you drive around component to the Mushroom Kingdom. You go to like a toad village and meet some toads there and maybe race them or whatever. Or you go exploring into the countryside, or you go to like Bowser's Dominion or wherever. You go anywhere you want. Bowser's Dominion or wherever. As long as you'd have to have the racing as the main part of it. As long as I don't know if that's too much to ask, or if that would even not break it, but make it too much. That it would even in terms of the fan base, because people like that they can just jump in and play Mario Kart. I think it's in terms of the fan base. This would be more of a single player experience, perhaps.
I wonder, and I think that might be a good idea, having like a Mario Kart adventure kind of flavor. And I think that because they could do it, and it's just a very simple example, but do it like kind of like the movie, where there was definitely a Mario Kart scene in that movie, where there was, if you were doing an adventure, then here's the race. So obviously, if you were doing an adventure, then here's the race. So obviously, but yeah, moving from village to village and getting in these races as part of the bigger story, and then, but also making it so those races are available for traditional Mario Kart, but also making it so those races anybody can access it for traditional, pick it up and just race and not bother with the story if they don't want to. But maybe playing through the story gets you bonuses, or that's how you unlock cars. Maybe playing more characters gets you something, or even some tracks. Because I think that would be more fun for single players. Even some tracks, not because I think that would be more fun for single players if you don't have people with you, not got a little more incentive to kind of play through on your own instead of gathering a group of people for a incentive challenge to kind of play through on
that's
your own.
true. And maybe when you meet someone like you meet I don't know, Bowser or someone, and then you beat them, then you unlock the character. I don't know, Bowser or someone, and then you beat. It would be a fun way to unlock the characters, and then you could have a million characters. Like you could have, you could have your wart, and then you could have, I don't know, actually a million characters. And then you could have,
I don't know if they'd want to go into a whole Pikmin world in a Mario Kart game as opposed to just I don't know if they'd want to go into a whole Pikmin world in a Mario Kart game.
He must have crash landed in the
Mushroom Kingdom.
Another
crash.
He must have crash landed in yet again.
Another
Yes. Well, I mean, time will tell, and I think we're pretty happy to wait and see. We're definitely not yearning for content at the moment. We definitely have something amazing, and it's not over yet. We still have another wave to go. This current wave, yes, is amazing. It's not over yet. So, if listeners haven't played it yet, I mean, check it out. My thoughts, as I said, will be up online. Well, before this, probably around the time this episode launches, so you'll be able to jump onto the community website before this. Probably around what I thought of each and every track. So, I mean, are we done with Mario Kart? Do you think? Should we move on? So
yeah, let's
move on.
Park the car and move on.
Park the car. Cool. So let's talk about some other games we're playing at the moment. And I know. Cool. So let's talk about Trevor's a pinball fan. Are you also a pinball fan? Cool. So let's.
I am.
Trevor's cool.
I actually have. I have a full-size, authentic Flash Gordon, of course, pinball machine.
Wow.
Working.
Nice.
I just had it serviced about a year or two ago. Working. Get it all up to snuff. About a year or two ago. Working.
That's amazing.
Up to snuff. Been a pinball fan for a while.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Been a pinball fan for a while.
Well, yeah, you definitely qualify as a pinball fan. Yes. Really cool. Do you want to tell us about Zen Pinball FS?
Yeah, and this one was confusing because Zen is a company that's been making pinball sims for a long time. Zen is a company that's been making pinball sims for a long time. They'd gotten up to Zen Pinball FX3. And then suddenly they released Zen Pinball FX. They just went back, and then so we didn't know exactly what what this was. They just went back and then so we didn't know exactly what this was. And it seems that they've updated the engine, and for some reason, instead of going with FX4, it seems that they've updated the engine, and for some reason, it's kind of like a new. I believe they're using the Unreal Engine now for the simulations. And there's some good things about it, but there are also some bad things about it. And Trevor and I were talking. And there's some good things about it, but there are also some bad things about it. And Trevor and I were talking. And there's some good things about it, but there are also some bad things. One of and I'll have a full review up on this soon. And they gave us codes for 4 sets of tables, some of which you get up to 3. They gave us codes for 4, and some of them is just 1. Some of which I got the Godzilla tables, of course.
Yeah.
So there are 3 in that. There's King Kong, there's Godzilla, and then there's Godzilla versus King Kong. There's King Kong, there's Godzilla, and before I go into those real quickly, most of it I'll say for the new. If you have Pinball FX 3 and you bought all the additional tables, because you get the game, you get Pinball FX for all the additional tables. You can download that on your Switch now, and a couple tables come with it. And then you can buy additional tables or table sets. If you want to. And they've got just a ton of them in FX3. They had 2 of my personal favorites. There's one called Attack from Mars that I love in the arcades, and I love it there. And my favorite game ever is called Mars, and I love in the arcades. And they have that one. My favorite game ever is called Mars, and I love in the arcades. But if you bought them for FX3, you do not get them with FX3. So if you upgrade to the new engine for this, then you've got to buy all the games engine for this. And at first, I was kind of put off all the games, but then I thought I don't know that it really needs to be, because it's not like FX wipes out. I don't know that it really needs to be, because you still have them. You still have those games, and you can play those games. You still have them. It's just from this point forward, if you want to buy new games, you're going to download the free Pinball FX, and you're going to buy the games for that. So it's kind of like when you open it, it's a little bit like an arcade. You can go in, you can see your tables. It's kind of like when you open it, it's a little bit like different challenges and such. So you're going to have to bounce between software if you want to play different challenges and such. So you're going to have to bounce between software if you want to play.
I mean, it's good that it doesn't override it, I guess. You still have access to both. But was that the case with the previous versions, like Pinball FX1 and 2?
No, I'm pretty sure that I'm fairly confident. It's hard for me to remember back, but like Pinball FX2, if you got Pinball FX3, you can still play it in Europe back. But like Pinball, it wasn't such a drastic update.
Yeah, okay.
But I could be wrong. I wasn't such a research that a little bit. But I could be wrong. Trevor actually mentioned that he thinks the graphics in FX are not as good as FX. That he thinks they're blurry in FX. I couldn't confirm that because I don't have Pinball FX3 on the Switch anymore. I actually got Zen Pinball Party on the iPad via Apple Arcade. And that gave me all the tables because Apple Arcade, everything is free now because I'm subscribing to Apple. And that gave me all the tables because Apple Arcade, everything is free now. I don't know if this is going to get me in trouble or not, but I think the iPad is a much better system for playing pinball than the Switch because you could just turn it and hold it in portrait mode because you can just, the whole game's right there, so it seems bigger even though it's on a smaller screen because it's right in front of the whole game's right there. And you're just tapping the screen for the buttons. It works very well. Cool. Now, one thing I do like about it on the Switch is that if you are playing in handheld mode, you can set it so you can turn the Switch at if you are playing in handheld and play it so you're using the big screen for the length of the table as opposed to the wasted space on the left and the big screen length of the table as opposed to the wasted space on the left and the big screen. So that's a nice touch. But so he said it's blurry, or I have to look at it a little more closely to verify that. So he said it's blurry, or it is a bit darker, but you can control the game. It is so if it's too dark and you're having trouble seeing the board, you can control the game. You can switch. And I will say that playing it on the Switch in handheld mode is really difficult because there's a lot going on these tables. And the ball moves very quickly. So even though there's a trail to kind of help you follow the ball, the ball moves very quickly. So even though there's a trail, it's still really hard to do on that tiny screen. So I would recommend trail. It's still really hard to do on
and
that
does that, I mean, TVs can't be rotated. So
it's still really hard.
does that affect, I mean, TVs can't be rotated.
In that case, they do a good job. Like on the Godzilla, table, the pinball machine, it looks like it's set on Godzilla's back table. So the playing table is in between the spikes on his back. So and then off to the left and right you see water, and then in the distance it's like the landscape of Hong Kong, where you see water, Godzilla in the distance it's like the landscape of Hong Kong. So they do use that extra space well. But and speaking of the movie, one other thing I have to say is, we've talked outside of the podcast about how much I can't stand that Godzilla versus King Kong outside of the podcast.
Yes.
It was made in America. As a Godzilla fan, and I'm happy to answer any questions as a Godzilla anyone may have. I'm happy to answer any questions. But one of the reasons is because the acting drove me nuts. And one of the things in Pinball FX of these Godzilla and King Kong tables is they have voiceovers, which are helpful because it's really good at telling you what you need to do as opposed to just like seeing what's flashing. Really good at or reading the instructions you understand. Because of course in pinball it's all about you hit a few targets, you unlock this, now you try to do this, and that's how you get your score up. You hit by hitting what you're supposed to hit in a certain order as opposed to just randomly hitting what you're supposed to hit in a certain order. But whoever they got to do the acting on this, I guess it's good in that whoever they got, their voices are as annoying, I guess it's as the actors were in those movies. It was so bad that I feel bad because I don't want to knock them. It was so bad that but it just drove me nuts. I had to turn the volume of the voiceover completely down because it just drove me nuts. And I thought in a way they perfectly captured the acting and the vocal work in the movies. So I guess the acting and the vocal work.
Is it annoying in the sense of they're kind of overacting, like they exaggerating? Is it annoying in the sense of being
I don't know. Like the first thing I did was try to see if I could have them do it in a different language. Because whenever I'm playing like a JRPG, I always play it with a Japanese voice. Because whenever I'm playing like a feels more right, but also because I can't, since I don't fully, but also because even remotely understand the language as well, it's hard for me to understand if the inflection is annoying. Because I don't know what they're saying. So I can't weigh in on that. Like I can't. I don't know what the American saying.
Yes.
So, but I can't. It's only in weigh in on that. Like I can't. I don't know what the American saying.
Yes. Well, I don't know if that's going to help their little. What are they doing at the moment? They're on strike, aren't they? So, well, I don't know if that's going to help their. Yes. Maybe we won't go into that.
And I don't even necessarily blame the actors so much as that they're often just given really dumb lines to say. And I don't even necessarily blame the actors so much as that they're often just given really like even if you watch Star Wars, you see Harrison Ford struggling to deliver some of the lines. Like even he had to deliver that movie because he was just so bored struggling to deliver some of them. So I'm not specifically blaming the actors. It's just the way it feels within the context of the game. I'm not specifically blaming the actors.
Yeah, fair enough.
The way it feels within the context.
So there are no other language options, is what you're saying. So.
Yeah, not that I could find.
So there are no other language options, is what you're saying. Yeah. How many tables are there altogether? So there's no. Must be
they have quite a few.
How many tables
I'd say maybe a couple dozen right now that you can get with Pinball FX. There are games based on, like, say, the Borderlands games you can get with Pinball FX. There are some actual tables in the Borderlands games. Like one of the games that comes with there are some fish tables, which was another very fun game to play. Like one of the games that comes with people who have ever been to a truck stop, which was another very fun game, or pinball hall. People who might have played that, and it's a good game. So they're a good mixture who might have played that.
No Flash Gordon, though.
No, I haven't seen a digital version of Flash Gordon, but I guess I don't really need it. They do have like Addams Family is one of them, and I'm pretty sure that was an actual arcade game. They do have like Addams Family is one of them, and I'm pretty sure that was an actual arcade game. They do have like that's definitely one. Addams Family.
Addams Family, is that from like the 90s movie?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I've seen that Family. Is that around like the 90s movie?
Oh yeah. Addams Family Values, the second one, is a fantastic movie. Oh
yeah.
Adam's
I remember enjoying it. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, it was. I'm sure I liked it. I remember enjoying it. There's a pinball. There is a place not far from here. I liked it. That has old school arcade games and pinball machines, which is really cool. And I have a good friend who's quite into that and even participates in competitions like fun kind of leagues, I guess. So yeah, it's definitely alive and well, which is good to see. Leagues, I guess. So there's obviously a fan base for this kind of thing, which is why they keep making pinball FX games, I suppose. So there's obviously a fan base. Yeah, it's funny they didn't call it something a bit more obvious, like maybe change the FX or call it FX Origins, or I don't know, something more obvious. The 1, 2, 3, and then back to FX, or call it FX Origins. I don't know, something.
Yeah, it was.
The 1, 2, 3, and then
it's,
change
I'm
FX.
assuming people eventually get the hang of it. And I guess they're starting fresh with a new gaming engine, so they wanted it to feel that way. But yeah, just dropping back. And I guess they're starting fresh with a new gaming engine, so it was not going to feel that way. But yeah, just dropping back.
I wonder if they're hoping to keep. I'm not sure why they changed. I wonder if they're hoping to keep. But I don't know. I'm not sure if they would hope to keep this one and then eventually transition all the existing. But I don't know. I'm not sure if they would hope to keep this one and then eventually.
I would think so, or at least the ones that they, unless there's a rights issue, I can't